Today on the channel, we're looking at an old favorite from the G.I.Joe Classified series. We're looking at Franklin Airborne Talltree, on the way I got it figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? The way I got it figured, back with another G.I.Joe Classified series review. This time we're looking at number 115 in the series. Codename Airborne, an old favorite, and for my money, possibly the best figure in the wave. We still got to go through the Techno Viper, honestly, to get that true opinion, but I do expect great things from this figure. We're going to get them out of the packaging, but first we're going to go over the packaging, do a couple of comparisons, talk about them a little bit, and get you out of here with some final thoughts. So, starting with the packaging, we've got Airborne, Franklin Airborne Talltree. Looking pretty cool in his packaging. Nice artwork. It's number 115 in the series. More artwork, larger version of the artwork on the side of the box, of course. You got your QR code to nowhere, as well as his file card symbols. He's got a 3 Vanguard, 2 light weapons, 3 parachuting, and 1 infiltration. On the back, you got your toy photography for Airborne. He's some kind of sergeant or corporal, maybe. I thought it was an E4 in a Real American Hero, but got a nice helmet. There's a dragonfly flying in the background, and of course you got the Easter Island heads shooting laser beams, like in the one episode, because they love their cartoon references on the G.I. Joe development team. But it does look nice. I mean, I personally, wish they wouldn't lean so heavily into the show, but that's just me. So let's all look at the packaging. We're gonna get Airborne out and see what we can see. Alright, so we got Airborne out of the package with all those accessories. We're gonna go over his accessories first before we tackle him. First things first, we've got his backpack. This is the same backpack that comes with Duke, 04 Duke, the Tiger Force Duke, as well as the Retro Card Duke. Same backpack. Next up, we've got his helmet. It's a pretty cool looking modern helmet. You can enhance it. A couple of things here. We've got his tried and true covered goggles, just sort of like how his goggles were on the old Real American Hero figure from 1983. If you want a more modern flair to them, you've got this image intensifier that you can stick on the helmet. That's pretty cool. Then in G.I. Joe Classified Series fashion, you can actually put the goggles on his face if you want to do that. Then he comes with this submachine gun that currently comes with Firefly, but we're going to see it a couple more times. The silencer comes off. Suppressor is removable. We're not going to be keeping this gun anyway. Then you got your pistol, which also came with Firefly. And then finally, you got a knife. And this knife, once again, also came with Firefly. Just taking a closer look at Airborne himself. There's a lot of reuse. He's got the arms of scrap iron. I'm not sure if these I know these they look like the legs, because you can see how they kind of protrude out. These are like the same legs as what's on Snow Job and Boots, but he has different knee pads. It's kind of difficult to tell what shirt he's got on, but it looks like his chest is the Stalker's chest. And of course, you got his emblem on the side. Web gear attached to the vest, and the vest is cool. And one of the things that made Airborne so cool was his color scheme. The figure just always popped, and they definitely kept that going this version. Taking a look at his face, yeah, he looks like a kind of somewhat harder version of the 1983 classic figure. Not a bad looking portrait. Maybe he looks a little older, but not terrible. So yeah, so there's a look at Airborne as far as details. So looking at Airborne's articulation, you can get his arms up about 90 degrees. Get his legs almost 90 degrees. Kick back about that far. Kick forward about that high. Somewhat encumbered by the web gear, but not, it's not terrible. Pretty deep bend at the knee. Pretty decent toe pivot. Obviously ankle rockers. This is G.I.Joe Classified series. Pretty deep bend at the arm, elbow, which we should expect from the scrap iron. Looks up pretty high, looks down pretty low. Got your chicken neck. Pretty decent. So now we'll get Airborne geared up and come right back. Okay, so we've got Airborne geared up in what I consider to be the base configuration of how I probably would display them. So essentially I've eschewed the image intensifier, which doesn't really stay in very good. Not going to go with the goggles. I'm not going to go with the Firefly gun. So I instead gave him an extra Crimson Guardsman rifle. He came with an M16 with a different type of stock, but it was still pretty much that, with the bayonet on it. And so, as a real American hero traditionalist, I kind of want him to have a gun that resembles what he came with back in the day. I'll find some other use for the Firefly gun. I mean, I did keep the suppressor for the pistol, just so that there's nothing there. And he's got his knife sheathed in there, and his backpack, of course. And then he's got his helmet with his goggles covered up. I don't really like how the helmet fits on his head. Seems like the strap is really holding things up. In a sense, you gotta kind of fight with it, his helmet to stay down on his head. But he looks good. And, you know, it's kind of what I'm looking for with an Airborne. A couple of technical problems, like the gun being kind of weird with the silencer. The helmet doesn't want to really sit on his head right, but you can make it work. And this just wouldn't stay in. There's a little peg on here that pegs into the little kind of rectangle on the helmet, but it wouldn't stay in. So yeah, I'll probably just display Airborne like that. So next what we'll do is bring in, of course, some comparisons. I'm really going to keep it simple. So he's got his wave bait, big boa. Who just towers over this guy. Fellow wave mate, quick kick. And amazingly, they're about the same size. Quick kick's not even wearing shoes. And then of course you got Duke. Maybe a little bit taller than Airborne. There you go for some comparisons. So I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on G.I.Joe Classified Series number 115. Franklin Airborne Talltree. You know, I really wanted to like this figure. I mean, I was really looking forward to him. And he's not bad, but there's some things about him that just don't sit well with me. His helmet doesn't want to stay on his head. That's kind of a big downer. He's really kind of difficult to stand up. He wants to fall on his back. But I'd probably say the biggest thing is the helmet not being really seated on his head all that well. Of course, coming with Firefly's weapons, gang molded weapons, and they're still kind of flimsy. Not being able to get the silencer back on there, that's kind of annoying. But that might just be the plastic, you know. As far as the figure itself, he's a good figure in the sense that he looks really good. He still has that going for him with the matching greens and the blue vest with the helmet. The figure always just was a good looking kind of figure. You know, again, I don't think he's terrible. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 where I got a figure rank. Pretty good. I just feel like he could have been better. He's, you know, using snow job pants and scrap iron's arms. It looks like Stalker's chest. And it all adds up to look nice, but it doesn't function all that well. I mean, obviously he's standing, so you can do something with him. I'm just saying, I've definitely seen better. So I'm going to give him an 8. It's a character I was looking forward to, even if the execution isn't necessarily the best. So that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to sign off here. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe to the video. Help us grow the channel. We'd love to help you, have you along. And we're going to keep this thing going. Techno Viper will be up probably next week. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, everybody stay safe. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.